It's looking very uncertain right now. Look, the leaders are about to arrive on the red carpet behind me here, but out of those 27 prime ministers and presidents, the one who will be most watched is the one who came the least distance, Belgian Prime Minister Bart De Wever. He's in the hot seat because this discussion really hinges on him. The frozen assets are mostly held here in Belgium at the Euroclear clearinghouse, and the Belgian Prime Minister is worried that if Russia is able to launch a successful legal challenge in the years to come against the seizure of Russian assets and giving them to Ukraine, then Belgian taxpayers will be on the hook. So he's been trying over the past weeks to get cast iron guarantees for unlimited sharing of that burden among EU countries so that all EU taxpayers would be on the hook in that instance, not just Belgian taxpayers. He's likened it to a plane crash. The likelihood of a plane crash is very low, and indeed analysts say that the likelihood of Russia launching a successful legal challenge are very low, but the consequences would be catastrophic. So you prepare a lot, not because the chances are high, but because the implications would be so catastrophic. Now, the likelihood that they're going to be able to convince him decreased over the past days as the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, seemed to join De Wever in his opposition. It's not exactly clear why, because there aren't assets in Italy of any significant amount, but there is concern, I think, about this method of doing it. Now, there is a plan B, which is to take out joint EU debt in order to give to Ukraine. Ukraine is going to run out of money in April, and this is the last European Council summit this year. The next one won't be until March. So they have to reach an agreement at this summit. The Council chair, Antonio Costa, said he will keep the leaders here as long as it takes. We might even be here until Saturday until they get an agreement on this, because otherwise Ukraine is going to know it's going to run out of money, and it may have to surrender if it looks clear that it's not going to get that money from the EU. So the big question here is whether De Wever and now Giorgia Meloni can have their concerns allayed.
Now, another thing overshadowing the meeting, even though it is not on the official agenda, is the EU-Mercosur trade agreement. Now, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has delivered an ultimatum to the EU to actually finalise it. Is there a bit of nervousness in Brussels?
There is a lot of nervousness, and it's not just overshadowing the summit figuratively, it's literally overshadowing the summit, because outside these doors are 10,000 farmers protesting on the streets of Brussels against this Mercosur agreement, against some other issues as well. They've got their tractors out. I had to wade my way through them to get into the summit just now. They are really opposed to this Mercosur deal, particularly French farmers. So France is standing against this deal, also Poland, Austria, and Hungary, but they don't have the votes to kill it. The key question is Italy. So today, we just had a vote in the European Parliament on Tuesday that gave some guarantees to assuage some of the worries about South American products being dumped into the European market. Today, the national governments are meeting to see if those guarantees are enough to assuage the concerns of the wavering countries. Wavering countries, by the way, include Ireland and the Netherlands. They haven't yet said how they're going to vote. Belgium also has said it's going to abstain. So again, it's all down to Giorgia Meloni on both of these issues. She has been very quiet the past weeks and then suddenly said yesterday that she thinks this issue shouldn't be decided until early next year. Well, critics say if we're pushing the can down the road again, Mercosur is dead, because they have very limited time to get this done before the end of the Brazilian presidency. The South Americans are starting to really lose their patience with this, and people are saying this is a question of EU credibility. Some people are even saying this is the last chance to preserve global free trade in light of Donald Trump's dismantling of global free trade. If the EU can't get this free trade agreement over the line after 25 years of negotiations, then free trade globally is dead. So a lot of pressure on the leaders today on this Mercosur issue, even though, as you say, it's not technically on the agenda. There will be maybe a vote tomorrow of national representatives on the sidelines of this summit that could yield an agreement that allows Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to fly to Brazil on Saturday for a signing ceremony. That ceremony, obviously, right now is on hold until we see what happens over the next 2 days at the summit.
Thank you very much for that, Dave Keating in Brussels. Now, Australian Prime Minister